Chapter 91 He completed the lore. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yellow, Ronaldo and Messi have scored 39 goals. The ranking of the Golden Boot may change at any time. Now both sides are on the same starting line. Yellow. Yellow is very likely to win Golden Boot of the season. Jong Jun said these words as if in a dream. A player from Dragon Country, at this moment, stands at the top of the La Liga scorer list. If the number of goals does not change, Yi Luo will win the La Liga Golden Boot unprecedentedly. Even if he is tied for first place, he is also a Golden Boot top scorer. The appearance of Yi Luo made many Longwa fans stunned. As if in a dream, he kept scoring goals, surpassing and breaking records. The records created by Longwa players in the 5 major leagues are no longer worth mentioning. He's breaking records that really matter. Now he is about to bag the top scorer in La Liga. Even if it is tied, it is also enough to make Dragon Country fans proud. The fans feel that even if it is only tied for the top scorer, but this is tied with Messi and Ronaldo. Which is enough to be proud of, enough to achieve great results. After all, this is only the first season of Yi Luo's career, but Yi Luo didn't think so. When the ball was dead, he asked his teammates on the bench and got the news that Messi and Ronaldo scored goals one after another, which made Yi Luo clenched his fists and returned to the court full of fighting spirit. He's not satisfied yet. Maroska smacked his lips. Such a player cannot bear to share honor with others. Pellegrini laughed. The pressure to win this game is gone, so, in the next game, he had the Malaga players fully support Yi Luo's goal. Hey, Yi, you are tied for first place with the Portuguese and the Argentine. Yi Luo took a long shot and missed the goal. When he was regretting, Isco beside him couldn't help but said. Tied for the first place is the top scorer. Of course there is only one person. Yi Luo said. Messi. 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 Messi's name is chanting at Camp Nou. Just now Messi broke through with the ball and was brought down to the front of the penalty area by Valencia players. Barcelona wins a superbly placed free kick. Of course, this free kick was handed over to Messi himself to take the penalty. The fans in the stands were already chanting Messi's name, ready to welcome the goal. Messi's left foot arc is very good, and he has scored free kicks many times. In such a good area, fans are looking forward to a wonderful free kick to score directly. Messi took 2 steps towards the run-up and pocketed the ball with his left foot towards the goal. The football pulls out the arc with a strong rotation and goes straight to the 10th corner. Messi, 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 Messi. The Catalan commentator clenched his fists, chanting Messi's name in his mouth. His buttocks had left his seat slightly, waiting for the moment to shout, boom. It was the sound of a football hitting the crossbar. The Catalan commentator also suddenly sat back in his seat, as if all his strength was taken away by the scene in front of him. Fans across the new camp were holding their heads in their hands, same as Messi on the pitch. He looked at the goal with both eyes, and instead of retreating, he waved his hands forward, signaling his teammates to press up. For Messi, who is relatively restrained on the court, this kind of action is rare. He is also unwilling to share the Golden Boot with others. Hi. Bar. Oh my God. The ball hit the bar. Just a little bit, just a little bit. The Catalan commentator put his head in his hands and exclaimed with regret. At this moment, Yi Luo was holding his head in both hands. His grabbing shot in the penalty area just now was almost sure. Unexpectedly, De Gea reacted so quickly, completed an extreme save, flicked the ball with his fingertips, and the football hit the post and crossed the baseline. Football is shut out. What a pity. De Gea. De Gea is like a wall. Zhang Jun's tone was filled with strong regret. In Calderon's commentary booth, the commentators are also feeling the fierce competition in the last round. How many years has La Liga not seen such a fierce competition for the top scorer? The battle between Messi and Ronaldo is already quite fierce, and now adding another Yi Luo. To be honest, I am full of expectations for the league next season. What if Yi Luo leaves at the end of this season? No. He just signed a contract with Malaga. The narrators were discussing one after another. The fiercer the competition in the league, the more superstars and topics, the healthier the development of a league. Everyone loves to watch it too, otherwise, it will be as dull as a pool of stagnant water. Who likes to watch it? In the fierce competition between Messi, Ronaldo, and Luo, the game time passed by every minute and every second. Their opponents are not vegetarian, and none of them want to be the background board, so in the following games, they will defend quite hard. Unconsciously, the game time has gone through 10 minutes, there are only 10 minutes left until the end of regular time. If the three of them don't score goals in the last 10 minutes, I'm afraid they will have no choice but to accept the reality of being tied for the top scorer. Both Messi and Ronaldo are already recognized as the two best players in the world, and no other player can catch up with them. How could they allow themselves to be defeated by Luo and become a foil for Luo, a fledgling star? And Luo himself was fighting for his own goals, honor, dignity, and that damned extreme competitiveness. Three people, all fighting. Ronaldo stood on the spot with his waist up, raised his head and shook his head slightly, but in fact, Real Madrid scored a goal just now, but it was not Ronaldo who scored the goal. But his teammate Higuain. It was Ronaldo's low shot from the penalty area line, and the football went straight to the dead corner, but Mallorca's goalkeeper jumped and miraculously scooped the ball out of the goal line, then it fell to Higuain's feet. Facing such a big empty goal, Higuain certainly didn't think his goal bonus was too small, so he easily sent the ball into the goal. This goal made the somewhat silent Bernabeu burst into applause for the Bernabeu fans, although Real Madrid is now, ahead of Mallorca. They are not very happy, because this season's league, the championship trophy, is getting farther and farther away from them. Ronaldo couldn't be happy either, because he didn't score the goal. His shot was saved. Mallorca's goalkeeper seemed to be fighting against him today. Cristiano Ronaldo's luck is too bad. The goalkeeper made another trick. His shot was actually very tricky, but it was also saved. The commentator of Madrid TV is also regretting Ronaldo. Fuck, just now Ronaldo and Messi almost scored goals at the same time. It's so fierce. Stimulate. There are still 10 minutes left in the game. I feel that there will definitely be goals. I'm watching from 3 windows now. What an exciting last round. Come on, Luo, that on Longua's network. The hearts of the fans also fluctuated with the changes on the court. Some fans simply opened 3 windows to watch 3 games at the same time. The discussion of La Liga and Longua has never been so heated. Luo has now become a big boss. When the ball passed to his feet, he basically solved it by himself. Anyway, it must be a shot at the end. A low shot that breaks through the penalty area with the ball, a strong shot from outside the penalty area. An inside cut shot, and a curve ball with left and right feet. It's like a big show of his shooting skills, and the whole Malaga team was passing the ball to him, and no one thought there was anything wrong with it. Now the team's only goal is to help Luo win the Golden Boot. Luo didn't expect to be able to compete for the league's top scorer at first. After all, he only joined the competition in the number 14 league round, and the opponents are scoring machines like Messi and Ronaldo. But now as he scores more and more goals, the positions of the 2 top scorers are getting closer. At last, he was sure, you can compete for this position yourself. This position will always be exclusive to a certain person. The top scorer, the player with the most goals in the league, is the top scorer. There is no need for selection, no scoring, and no shady scenes. Very fair. Very direct. Yes. I want the top scorer. Because, those 2 people are not too far away from me, that's all. It's the last round. Do you want to be satisfied at this time? Absolutely impossible. With the desire to score goals in his heart, Luo only has the goal in his eyes. Boom. One shot, higher than the beam. The referee signaled Atletico Madrid to take the goal kick, but the Malaga players were very dissatisfied. The ball hit them and flew out. It was a corner kick. The referee ignored it. Players also want to argue, but Luo quickly persuaded them to go back. Time is very precious, can't waste it here. Atletico Madrid's players know their hopes of reaching the Champions League have been dashed, but now they have found a new goal, to prevent Luo from scoring. This man shattered their dreams of reaching the Champions League. so we can crush his dreams too. Yes, this is revenge. Atletico Madrid's players reached an agreement at the end of the game. They want to shatter Yi Luo's dream. This is the revenge from Atletico Madrid. No matter where Yi Luo appears, there are at least 2 Atletico Madrid players around him. Of course he can choose to pass the ball, but the Atletico Madrid players don't care. Anyway, they just don't let Yi Luo score. In the end, Yi Luo knew that he still needed to rely on his own ability to solve the problem. Time is running out, there is not much time left for myself. Game number 8:08 minutes, Yi Luo got the ball with his back on the penalty line. He didn't choose to pass the ball, because he knew it was useless. Now Atletico Madrid doesn't care about other players, and it doesn't make sense for other Malaga players to score goals. He wants to come by himself. Suarez stuck close to Yi Luo, and at the same time, Raúl Garcia waited for an opportunity to steal the ball. The other Atletico Madrid players continued to shrink, forming a wall at the edge of the penalty area. Yi Luo leaned back and squeezed a little space with his body, then quickly pulled the ball, turn around, and smash the ball. Suarez immediately followed up at this time, blocking the shooting line, and at the same time did not go up to grab, worried about being fouled by Yi Luo. A foul in this position is a threatening free kick. Yi Luo also knew that it was unlikely that a forced shot would penetrate so many defenders. His smash just attracted Suarez to move his position. As soon as he shifted over, Yi Luo smashed the ball from the opposite direction and went into the penalty area. Suarez was originally holding Yi Luo's jersey. When Yi Luo entered the penalty area, he pulled it suddenly, and then suddenly let go, holding his hands high. This kind of action is not very likely to blow a penalty, but the effect is very useful. Yi Luo was staggered by the pull, but he had a good sense of balance. He hooked the ball back before Thiago was about to come up and destroy the ball. Seeing that he was about to kick Yi Luo, Thiago hurriedly withdrew his foot, and Yi Luo took advantage of Thiago's opportunity to retract his feet, bent down and drilled inside. Yi Luo. 2 people in a row. The narrators exclaimed, Yi Luo can't get up to speed at all now, and there are enemies all around. After he passed Suarez and Thiago in a row, he looked like he was going to go down. Godin and Dominguez in front did not dare to neglect. Yi Luo raised his left foot and made a strafing motion. Godin and Dominguez made blocking actions almost at the same time, but at this moment, Yi Luo supported the ground with his right hand and dunked the ball to the right with his left foot. A passage appeared before his eyes. I want to score a goal. Yi Luo gritted his teeth, the veins in his neck popped out. With a strong push of the right hand, the body is backward, and the toe of the right foot suddenly pokes the ball towards the fleeting channel. The football skimmed past Domingo's feet. De Gea was too late when he saw the ball. No one expected that Yi Luo could complete so many movements when he was about to lose his center of gravity. The football slammed into the inner edge of the post, bounced back and hit the net, spinning inside the goal. Goal! 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 Gaga goggle! The ball is in. The ball is in. Hat trick. Hat trick. Zhang Jun roared in the studio. Number 40 league goals. Number 40 league goals. Yi Luo now occupies the top scorer list. He has surpassed Messi and Ronaldo. He did it. Corb radio commentator Andres Hands, hold your head. God, this is only his first season. This is only his debut season, and he even started playing in the number 14 league round. He only played 25 league rounds. 25 league rounds, a goal. What else can you say? What can you say? La Liga has ushered in another king. He is the top scorer without a doubt, that the narrator on Malaga TV chanted. After scoring the goal, Yi Luo suddenly jumped up from the ground, opened his arms and rushed to the sidelines roaring. The camera locked on to his back. This will be the most exciting moment in the entire La Liga, the most worthy of being recorded, and will be played countless times in the future. Yi Luo, in the number 809 minute of the game, completed the overtake on the scorer list. Done. Lore. End of this chapter. Chapter 94. He stayed, high liquidated damages. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding. Do you want to choose the main task, Malaga's Road to Champions? Yes, on the way back to his residence, Yi Luo chose the main task of Malaga's road to champion. To be honest, choosing Malaga is the result of careful consideration. Among them is the reason why this task is difficult enough, S-level difficulty. Among other things, just rewarding another S-level badge can greatly improve Yi Luo's strength. The characteristics of reinforced iron bone can greatly reduce the possibility of Yi Luo being injured, while iron lung brings strong physical strength. These are quite practical features for Yi Luo. Among other things, if you can maintain sufficient physical fitness throughout the game, you can guarantee that you will be full of blood throughout the game. This can ensure that he can burst out with the strongest strength in 10 minutes. It must be quite beneficial in brushing data. As soon as Yi Luo entered the door, he received a call from his agent Mendez. Yes, I have decided to stay in Malaga for another season. Hearing Yi Luo's choice, Mendez didn't persuade him either. Yi Luo is still very young. For the sake of career development, it is also good for Yi Luo to stay in Malaga for another year of experience. Okay, Yi. I respect your choice. Mendez said on the other end of the phone, I just have to tell you that many head coaches of wealthy clubs want to contact you directly through me. They are all quite sincere. Yi Luo didn't hesitate, shook his head and said, reject it for me, Jorge, I won't consider transferring this summer. Yi Luo never worries about the things he promised. Since you will be struggling in Malaga next season, don't think about other things. Lead Malaga to beat Real Madrid and Barcelona to win the La Liga title. Just thinking about it is crazy enough, right? Who doesn't think about crazy things when they are young? Since you want to stay in Malaga, you can consider another thing. Malaga hopes to sign a new contract with you, or a supplementary agreement on liquidated damages, raising the liquidated damages to 1.2 million euros, Mendez said. In other words, they are not satisfied with the 6,000 million liquidated damages. Yi Luo was taken aback for a moment, and then said, what do you think? I suggest that you can sign a supplementary agreement that increases the liquidated damages and get a signing fee. Mendez suggested, the liquidated damages of 6,000 million euros is indeed too low for Yi Luo now. Increasing liquidated damages is also beneficial to your transfer. In this world, there are many clubs that can afford a transfer fee of 6,000 million euros, but there are not many clubs that can bite the bullet and pay 1.2 million euros. The more you have, the more it shows the sincerity of the club, and the price of 1.2 million can also break the record of football transfer fees, which is also beneficial to your status. The amount of the transfer fee often proves the status of a player, and at the same time raises the threshold. The price of 1.2 million is here, not just any cat or dog club can covet it. Moreover, the club that paid 1.2 million euros to buy people didn't care about paying the top salary at all. It will not affect Yi Luo's interests when he goes to the next house. Yi Luo himself can save a lot of trouble. What's more, there is still a signing fee to get in hand. For the Malaga club, they can also get enough compensation when Yi Luo leaves. Now Sans, the general manager of the Malaga club, is full of regrets. He thought that 6,000 million was enough. Who would have thought that Yi Luo would surpass Messi and Ronaldo? This data is here. 6,000 million is completely not enough. Even 1.2 million is not enough to watch. If Barcelona releases the word now, saying that they put Messi on the transfer market. 1.2 million. More than 2.4 million. But there is no way. It is Yi Luo who has the initiative now. This matter is not in a hurry. Anyway, it is Malaga who is in a hurry. Mendez said on the other end of the phone. Next, he talked about the arrangements for some commercial activities during the off-season. In fact, it is to sign endorsement contracts with several brands, and then shoot some advertisements. All the time was compressed and completed within a week, and then there was the matter of accepting an exclusive interview with Longhua National TV station. Yi Luo needed to go back to China this summer. Yi Luo didn't know much about this aspect, so he left it to Mendez to arrange. Yi Luo's image is very good, although he has a sharp conflict with the Longhua Football Association, but his overall image is still healthy and uplifting. After all, he is a football player. As long as he plays football seriously and looks good, how can his image in China be worse? What's more, Yi Luo's private life is quite healthy, and basically there is no negative news, not simple, not gambling, not super fan, it is simply a contemporary 3 good youth. I don't know how many big companies in China are queuing up to sign endorsements with him. However, Mendes doesn't accept all orders from any company. Yi Luo has just debuted, so he has to go step by step. Even if he accepts endorsements, he must be carefully selected. He must have a healthy social image and a new company that is not easy to explode. Just work. In this regard, Mendes' agency is professional. Yi Luo didn't need to worry about it either. Just when the Malaga team returned to Malaga, La Liga officially came to an end. The media frenzy continues. After La Liga ended, the media focused on 2 things. The first, of course, is that Barcelona won the final La Liga championship. The second is Yi Luo. Yi Luo relied on his hat-trick against Atletico Madrid in the last round of the league, helping Malaga overtake Valencia to become number 3 in La Liga this season, and also topped the scorer list with league goals. Before the start of this season, no one would have thought that Chen Yaojin would suddenly appear between Messi and Ronaldo, and a newcomer would appear, who would be regarded as the golden boot of the rivalry between Messi and Ronaldo. The picture of Yi Luo celebrating his 3rd goal with open arms on the sidelines appeared on the front page. Marca News, the report after the game focused on this one. They used a large photo of Yi Luo to occupy the entire page, with a bold headline, King of Shooters. Regarding Yi Luo's winning of the Golden Boot, whether it is pro-Real Madrid or pro-Barcelona media, this evaluation is quite high. After all, he won the Golden Boot by stepping on Messi and Ronaldo. If the evaluation is not high, wouldn't it belittle Messi and Ronaldo? This is Yi Luo's debut season. There is no doubt that he has produced a fantastic performance. He scored 25 goals in 1.68 games and averaged 33 goals per game, compared to 39 goals in La Liga. Messi with 34 goals, Ronaldo with 39 goals in appearances in La Liga. His average goal rate is too high. This is an achievement that no one can question. Congratulations, Yi Luo. Welcome to La Liga League. Your future will be infinitely bright. All the media are offering their incredible praise for Yi Luo's amazing performance. In fact, if it is just a league golden boot, there is really no need to occupy almost the same media space as the league champion Barcelona. But if you won the competition with Messi and Ronaldo, if you only started to play in the number 14 round of the league, if your average goal rate reached 1.68 goals per game, then you are definitely worthy of it. Such flattery and praise, all the media in the football circle know it well. What does an average goal rate of 1.68 mean? This means that even if Yi Luo's performance drops slightly next season, it will not affect anything. This is a real superstar. A superstar that shines like the sun. Not just Spain, Dragon Kingdom. The media in other countries are also reporting on the Golden Boot Yellowa in the just concluded La Liga. In England, the authoritative media Guardian made an in-depth summary report on La Liga on the 2nd day after the end of La Liga. Among them, the content about Yi Luo alone occupies a large chapter. From Yi Luo's first entry into the public eye, to his sudden rise, the rise of Yi Luo is introduced in detail. There is no doubt that this will be a superstar who is like the sudden appearance of the sun and illuminates the entire European football world. He makes everyone look sideways. It is conceivable how many teams will frantically waving checks for this Dragon Nation superstar. Although England is a stronghold of tabloids, there are a lot of unscrupulous newspapers like The Sun, but The Guardian is not The Sun. In terms of football, The Guardian has a high quality and reputation, and is considered to be one of the most professional football media in the UK. Being able to get such an evaluation from The Guardian, Yi Luo's influence can be seen. He is now the most watched star in Europe. 25 games, goals. It's a bit too much. Kearney training base, Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger let go of The Guardian report with a sigh. Such awesome data is presented, the probability that Arsenal can get the opponent is already far away, but Wenger has not given up. No money. There is no way to live without money. As long as the players are willing to come, all is well said. Sir, his agent has already told us that Yi Luo is not considering a transfer in this summer transfer window. Sitting opposite Wenger was Sanlahhi, Arsenal's transfer negotiator. Are you really not thinking about it, or are you just saying that to us? Wenger frowned and asked. He began directing Arsenal's transfer department to contact Yellow as soon as the season ended, and even hoped that Mendes could arrange for him to meet Yellow in private. Well known, Professor Ai Zhengtai. It will also train young players, and Arsenal is also suitable for the growth of young players. If you can contact Yi Luo in private, maybe you can use these advantages to make Yi Luo look at Arsenal differently. It's not just us, Manchester United, Manchester City, Chelsea and other teams were also rejected. The reason is also that they don't consider transferring this summer. It seems that Yi Luo really intends to stay in Malaga for another season. Wenger couldn't help but nodded when he heard the words, if you don't go to other giants, you still have a chance, and can withstand the temptation of money from wealthy families. It shows that he is not particularly fond of money. In that case that's not a big disadvantage for Arsenal. The liquidated damages of 6,000 million can be afforded even if you grit your teeth. Just when Wenger was thinking, a staff member knocked on the door and entered. Boss, it's not good. Malaga is negotiating a new contract with Yi Luo Fang, and the amount of liquidated damages will be greatly increased. This figure may be 1.2 million. What? Wenger was taken aback. Is the news reliable? This news was not revealed to the media, but we have private channels to find out. Wenger froze for a moment. I looked at the large photo of Yi Luo on The Guardian. Well, it seems that this matter has nothing to do with us. Wenger shook his head and said, no transfer this summer. 1.2 million liquidated damages. Carrington Training Base, Ferguson Side 2. It appears that his plan to develop a core that would last him a decade before retiring failed. It's just that Manchester United really needs a new striker who is good enough to share Rooney's pressure. How about asking Wenger, can he sell Van Persie? Thought Ferguson. For Malaga fans, they actually started worrying about losing Yellow after the La Liga season ended. In particular, many media are reporting on the Giants' pursuit of Yi Luo, which makes Malaga fans feel annoyed. But after Yi Luo made a decision, Malaga's action is also very fast. They announced on their official website that Yi Luo signed a new supplementary agreement with the team. Significantly increased liquidated damages. The exact figures have not been released, but many clubs can find out privately. As soon as the news came out, Malaga fans are a little more at ease. Yi Luo also wrote on his official social account. What a fantastic season, we won number 3 in the league, but this is not the end. Next season, let's move forward together for an even greater goal. Come on, Malaga. At Malaga FC. This is a statement to stay in the team. After all, Malaga took a signing fee of 2,000 million euros. This is the price of raising the liquidated damages to 1.2 million. The other details of the contract have not changed, only the liquidated damages have been increased, and for Malaga, of course, there is a price to be paid to increase the liquidated damages to 1.2 million. After all, this price is also quite beneficial to the Malaga club. Even if Yi Luo leaves, a transfer fee of 1.2 million can be left behind. So after Yi Luo got the money, the official Yi Luo, who was in charge of the management of Mendes's agency, posted such a tweet. Soon, the tweet was quickly occupied by jubilant Malaga fans and slightly regretful Dragon Kingdom fans. Malaga players also liked and commented on this tweet. Isco, let's work together. Come on, worship, Demichelis, like, Camacho, great. Worship, not just Malaga players, many La Liga players liked the tweet. Even Messi and Ronaldo liked it, although 9 out of 10 were done by the staff responsible for managing their official tweets. But the interaction between Yi Luo and these La Liga stars still makes the fans of Longwood talk about it. End of this chapter. Chapter 95. Under what circumstances does the chapter return? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 95. Under what circumstances return? Back home. Pictured, blue sky and white clouds hanging from the window of the aircraft, from Yi Luo Wei Nek. What? Back home? Damn it, I didn't squat at the airport, did I? When did you get on the plane? It's too doggy, you run faster than the field. Under the scarf, various comments quickly occupied the comment area as if swiping the screen. The number of comments, likes and retweets instantly pushed this scarf to the second most searched position, and number one is of course sold by Mr. Jia. You can sell anything, but anyone with eyes can see it, the number 1 most searched scarf. No matter the number of comments, reposts, and likes, is much less than Yi Luo's scarf. Yi Luo returns home. This is a big deal for Dragon Country fans. Many fans are wondering when Yi Luo will board the plane back to China, going to the airport to pick up the plane. If Yi Luo really discloses his itinerary, then he estimated that the airport will be under a lot of pressure, so he came to Mingxiu Plank Road to hide Qinsang secretly. In fact, he has already got off the plane at Shenzhen Airport, and the fans thought he was in Spain now and hadn't returned home yet. The scarf is not real-time dynamic. Yi Luo was carrying a backpack, wearing a plaid shirt and jeans, a peaked cap, and a light blue disposable surgical mask on his face. With this attire, it is similar to the college students who are traveling now, throwing in the crowd. Not many people noticed. In the airport hall where people come and go, no one noticed that Yi Luo just returned home in such a low-key manner. Hey, Yi Luo is going back to China. Does he get off the plane directly in Guangzhou from time to time? Probably. His family seems to be in Shenzhen. Damn it, I really want to get an autograph. Right in front of Yi Luo, there were two young couples who looked like college students talking about each other. Yi Luo lowered his head to avoid being noticed. This time he returned to China as low-key as possible, unassuming, in order to avoid being disturbed. His family moved, because the old house he lived in was dug out by the reporters, causing reporters and self-media up-owners to come every day, can no longer live normally. So now, except for a few relatives, most people don't know where Yi Luo and his family have moved. Yi Luo intends to take a week off when returning to China this time, and spend time with her parents and family at home. Then there are domestic activities. The first is the media activities. In fact, it is mainly an interview with the sports channel of the national TV station. Then there's the commercial activity, sign endorsements, shoot commercials, and the like. After completing the domestic affairs, he has to return to Spain and wait for the pre-season training for the new season. For the players, the holiday time between seasons will not be particularly long. After all, the pre-season training before the start of the new season is quite crucial for any team. It is a critical window period to reserve physical fitness for a season and hone new tactics and new styles of play. Just now, there was a commotion behind Yi Luo. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Yi Luo couldn't help frowning at the extremely rough voice. He looked back, and it turned out that it was a person from the entertainment circle who came from nowhere. Surrounded by assistants and security guards like Stars and Moon, a charming little fresh meat with rouge and powder was holding his head upright and his eyes were hanging from the ceiling. Go fast, and in front of them, a group of 200-pound big girls were holding up signs like Wu Sign, I love you, and were pushed away with difficulty by the security guards. There were bursts of screams. It's miserable. You say that these fans are too. Who are the security guards hired by these celebrities? Are you not your fans? Yi Luo shook his head slightly and turned forward. He didn't walk fast, so he was quickly overtaken by the group of humming security guards. A little more of these stars might be able to solve the employment problem. Seeing the security guards on the third floor, Yi Luo thought, just now, he couldn't help frowning. It turned out that the two college student couples in front were roughly pushed away by several security guards, and one staggered and sat on the ground. Yi Luo hurriedly stepped forward to help the two of them up. After all, they were young, and they were not in Nanjing. Yi Luo also had money, so he dared to be so bold. Are you okay? It's okay. The male college student hurriedly apologized. Thank you. Yi Luo smiled slightly. It's fine. He clapped his hands, ready to brush off his clothes. Yi. The female college student seemed to recognize Yi Luo. Shoo, don't yell. Yi Luo hurriedly reminded, we can't leave if you yell now. Some people around were already attracted by her shout. The two were also smart people, and hurriedly lowered their voices. Yi Luo, you are Yi Luo. Yes, I am Yi Luo. Can you give me an autograph? Yi Luo, I like you so much. Me too. The eyes of the two were shining, and they lowered their voices, as if secret agents were meeting. No problem, but don't make a show here. I don't want to be stuck at the airport for hours. Yi Luo took the pen and said, and then asked, by the way, what are your names? With the end of the major European leagues, the media in Longwa began to monitor Yi Luo's news every day. but after squatting at the airport for several days, Yi Luo was not found. On the internet, people speculated about Yi Luo's movements. Did you not return home? No. Everyone got Yi Luo's signature. This is too low-key. Where did Yi Luo go? For the media, where did Yi Luo go is really the biggest doubt. You must know that Yi Luo is now the hottest sports star in the country. The media who want to interview and photograph Yi Luo can line up from Dalian to Sonia. In the past few days, the entries of where did Yi Luo go have been on the hot searches for bibs. In fact, Yi Luo has been at home for the past few days and hasn't gone out much, but soon, Longwa National Television's World Soccer program issued a program preview. The highlight of it, of course, it was an exclusive interview with Yi Luo. World Soccer wants to interview Yi Luo. Na Yelua must have returned home. For a while, the fans are looking forward to it. Tianzu exclusive interview. I definitely want to watch this issue. Finally waiting for you. Where did Yi Luo hide? What questions will you ask? Yi Luo's interview was not a live broadcast, so he went to the north a few days in advance. Anyway, he will also participate in several business activities in Beijing in a few days. The interview was conducted in the Big Underpants building on national television. When Yi Luo arrived, the studio had already been set up. When Yi Luo came to the office area of the sports channel, almost all the staff stood up and looked at Yi Luo, who walked in from the door with their feet on their feet, popping. I don't know who applauded first. Soon, the entire office area burst into applause. Good kick, Yi Luo. Come on, Yi Luo. Brilliant. I saw them all on TV, now I can see real people. Not everyone gave Yi Luo a thumbs up. The host Duan Xian walked over with an excited expression on his face. Hi Yi Luo, I'm Duan Xian. I like your performance on the field so much. I think football fans all over the country are your fans now. Hi, I'm Yi Luo, you're welcome. Yi Luo stretched out his hand and smiled. The Tianzu staff behind Duan Xian breathed a sigh of relief. Before this, they were really worried that a big star like Yi Luo would play big names and be hard to serve. After all, the previous conflict between Yi Luo and the Football Association has already caused him to be labeled as a thorny head. Let's meet now. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Where is the thorn in the head? He's clearly humble and polite, but he's a pretty boy. Come here, please. Under the guidance of Duan Xian, Yi Luo entered the interview room, after sitting down respectively. Don't gossip, let's start now. Duan Xian asked. Okay. Yi Luo nodded. Before the opening, Duan Xian came to flatter Yi Luo, which made the parties feel nasty, and finally got to the point. Yi Luo, first of all, congratulations for leading the team to win the number 3 La Liga in history. You also defeated Messi and Ronaldo to win the league Golden Boot. This is really a fantastic result, congratulations. Thank you. Yi Luo smiled. Just before the start of this season, you were called up by the Olympic team, but some unpleasant things happened later. What did you think at that time? Duan Xian asked. This issue is obviously a concern of fans across the country. After all, only the person involved knows what happened in the first place. I didn't have any opportunities in China at that time, and I didn't have any chance to play in the Olympic team, so I was already looking to play abroad at that time. Yi Luo said calmly. No chance. Duan Xian smiled wryly in his heart, did not give red envelopes. At that time, a scout from Malaga discovered me and recommended me to go to Malaga for a trial training. After passing the trial training, I got the chance to play in the game. It wasn't easy for me because someone had already said that my future in China was over and they wouldn't let me sign with any domestic club or play at any level in the country. Come on. Yi Luo shook his head, with a sneer on his face. So, I was blocked by them. Duan Xian was obviously taken aback, and he looked to the other side, where there were some people who could make a decision. After seeing the people over there nodding, Duan Xian felt relieved. National television is not afraid of offending the FA, their level is even higher than the FA, so, Yi Luo's words can be broadcast as long as the above said it can be broadcast. But fortunately, they can't control foreign countries, and they can't control La Liga. This is also a blessing in misfortune. Duan Xian said with some fear. So, what are your goals for next season? Champion. Yi Luo replied bluntly. Duan Xian almost choked on this answer. Silence for a second or two. Duan Xian asked with some doubts, what kind of champion is this champion? King's Cup. If possible, I certainly hope to win all the championship trophies. Yi Luo said, but I also know that based on the reality, our priority goal is the La Liga championship. But the La Liga title is not easy, after all there are opponents like Real Madrid and Barcelona. If it's easy, what's the point? Yi Luo grinned. Duan Xian choked. He rushed over Yi Luo and felt a completely different spirit from other Longwa football players. He is very confident, it can even be said to be sharp, the goal is also very firm, maybe that's why he was able to succeed. Then he asked a few more questions one after another. At last, it's time for the interview to end. Duan Xian put down the question card in his hand. This interview was very successful. Yi Luo responded fluently. There was no hesitation of domestic players in the interview, and there were not too many words such as then and right. It stands to reason that the interview should have ended here, but there is a question I really can't express, and I believe it is also the most concerned issue of the fans. Yi Luo nodded. Please tell me. He can probably guess what the questions are, but he doesn't run away from them. Duan Xian's face became serious. Under what circumstances will you return to the national team? End of this chapter. Chapter 96 Malaga's signings, summer training begins. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When this question was raised, everyone present looked at Yi Luo. This is of course the most concerned issue of the majority of fans. It's ridiculous to say that Yi Luo is now certainly the most talented and personally powerful football player of all time, but the number one player in the history of the Dragon Kingdom couldn't make it to the Dragon Kingdom national team. Isn't that funny? Yi Luo had already prepared for this question. As for the national team, it doesn't depend on me. Duan Xian's eyes lit up, and he asked, will you go back as long as the Football Association and the national team call? Of course it's impossible. Yi Luo poured cold water on Duan Xian. My career was almost ruined by them. Imagine if I couldn't gain a foothold abroad, would I have to give up my football career? Yi Luo asked back. Repaying grievances with virtue, how can I repay virtue? I have a bit of talent and strength, so I was not taken advantage of by them. What about the vast number of less talented players? Talented players buried? The football in our country is going from bad to worse. Where is the responsibility? Could it be that our fans in the Dragon Kingdom don't love football enough? Some people say that it is the blood of our country's people, saying that the speed is not as good as people, and the confrontation is not as good as people. It's all nonsense. Look at the track and field. There are only 10 people who have run faster than Su Shen in history, and they are all black West Africans in the Caribbean. There has never been a white person who has run faster than him in history. Look at weightlifting, high jump, long jump, etc. Our results are not bad. Why do we have to talk about the influence of blood when it comes to football? We are all Homo sapiens, the same species, how big the gap can be. Football can't do it. It's just nonsense to push the responsibility for the blood to the blood. The fundamental reason lies in the managers of the industry. These people control the interests of the industry and become moths and parasites that suck blood on the football industry. They have not done anything beneficial to the development of the industry, but are dragging the development of the industry. Hind legs. I go back to the national team. What can I change if I go back to the national team? As long as these people are here, I won't go back. Duan Xian smiled wryly upon hearing this. Of course he knew what Yi Luo said, but if you want to change, can you change it? Too difficult, can't change it. Football is one of the few sports in China that can make money under commercialization, and the money is not a small amount. Football projects do not require appropriations from above, and even the national team has hundreds of millions of sponsorship fees every year, but therein lies the problem: who took these benefits away? You know, it's not a small fortune, the sponsorship fee of the national team and the cost of the sale of broadcast rights in the Super League, 1 billion a year. Of course, the money is not in the hands of the FA is just a facade, FA substitution. Change back and forth, change the soup but not the medicine. As long as the pattern of interests remains unchanged, what about changing the program source? And so, Yi Luo is really likely to be unable to return to the national team for a long time in the future. Duan Xian couldn't help but smile wryly. Yi Luo thought so. His answer to that last question will not be broadcast, but did not expect. This time, Longhua National Television actually broadcast all his interviews completely. This episode of the program has triggered a big discussion in the Dragon Kingdom, and the attack on the Dragon Kingdom Football Association has reached a climax again. However, the Longhua Football Association did not come forward to respond. Their traditional art is to pretend to be a grandson. Anyway, as long as they pretend well enough, the wind of public opinion will pass after a while. Which time is it not like this? The fans' discussion has indeed made this matter a lot of heat on the internet, but it is limited to this. Everyone said hello for a few days, and then what to do or what to do, nothing will change. Yi Luo is also aware of this. Of course, he doesn't expect to change the world with a single call. If he had this ability, he would have given up playing football a long time ago. Therefore, in Beijing these days, he did not continue to talk about the national team and the Football Association. He signed 2 endorsement contracts, then filmed a few commercials, and returned to Spain directly from the northern capital after the end, during the 2 weeks when Yi Luo returned to China. The most exciting thing in European football is the Yi Luo chasing G of the major giants, the 2 La Liga giants, Real Madrid and Barcelona, have sent their top management to Malaga. The reporters squatted at the gate of Malaga's training base, and they could always find some big shots. There was even a picture of Real Madrid president Florentino and Malaga general manager Sans having dinner. In the media, Barcelona coach Pep Guardiola also publicly stated that Barcelona is in contact with Malaga. He is a very good player, and the attacking combination formed by him and Messi makes people tremble just thinking about it. Guardiola said in an interview, this made Malaga coach Manuel Pellegrini very upset. I think Pep Guardiola lacks respect. Barcelona is a big club, but yellow is our player now. That around the transfer of Yi Luo, the 2 giants with very strong influence in La Liga are making efforts. The Proboss media paints cakes for the fans on both sides every day. Aspen just said that Florentino and Mendes have a good relationship. The World Sports Daily dared to brag that Yi Luo wanted to play with Messi. In short, if you look at the media, Yi Luo seems to have signed contracts with 2 giants. At the same time, not just in Spain, the same is true across Europe. The media didn't need much proof anyway, and various tabloids continue to stir up rumors about Yi Luo's transfer. Without him, fans of major clubs love to watch it. Manchester United fans are counting on Yi Luo to lead the team to win the Champions League. They lost to Barcelona in the Champions League final last season. Fans of Chelsea, Manchester City, Arsenal and other clubs also got great psychological satisfaction when they saw the news that Yi Luo was closer to his team. Yi Luo is now the favorite among the transfer news. As long as the name Yi Luo is on it, someone will love to watch it. Isn't that what the tabloid media is counting on? If you look at the media in England, putting it all together you will get this message. Yi Luo has been a fan of Manchester United since he was a child. There is a lot of interest in Manchester City's club plans. He also loves Liverpool's history. There is also honey worship for Wenger. Unfortunately, Malaga bites dead and does not sell. In addition, Mendes is actually not as busy as the media described. He directly replied to all the clubs that wished to contact him. This summer, Yi Luo does not consider transfer matters, but for Malaga fans, it wasn't until Yi Luo returned to the team and showed up at the training base that he was half relieved. The other half will have to wait until the transfer window closes to let go completely. In fact, Malaga made moves one after another before the team assembled. On the day of the team assembly, the team ushered in 5 new players. Defender Sergio Sanchez, transferred from Sevilla, cost the team a transfer fee of €280 million. Sergio Sanchez debuted in Real Madrid's youth training, and has played for Racing Santander, Espanyol, and Sevilla successively. He can play at centre-back, at right-back, and as a defensive midfielder, is a versatile backcourt. In addition, there is also the Dutch international centre-back Madison, who was transferred from the Bundesliga Hamburg. Madison is now the main central defender of the Dutch national team. He is 31 years old this year and is in the peak state of a central defender. In order to get him, the Malaga club paid Hamburg a transfer fee of €250 million. A central defender over years old needs to spend this transfer fee, which actually shows Matheson's ability. If nothing else, the team's main central defender combination next season will be Demichelis and Maddison. In addition, the team also spent €600 million to buy Osasuna's main left-back Monreal, it can be said in the defense line. With the addition of these three players, plus Demichelis, the team's defense has completely changed. Except for the three defenders, there are also two forwards. The first is Dutch veteran Ruud van Nistelrooy, who arrived on a free transfer from Hamburg. That's right, it was Ruud van Nistelrooy, the king of the wicket, but this year Van Nistelrooy is 36 years old, therefore, it is impossible for him to join as the main player, but as a supplement to the striker's firepower. Another young Argentine striker who cost the team €450 million to introduce is the right winger Diego Bonanalt, who is called the new Maradona and Messi too by Argentina every time. The main force is imported. Diego Bonanalt is very well known in Argentina. He was a teammate of the Argentine team that Messi won the men's football gold medal in the 2008 Olympic Games. He is not tall, but he is fast and has good skills at his feet, otherwise he would not be called Messi too. Before the start of the training camp, both the front line and the back line have signings. Although Malaga's direct transfer fee is not much, it costs more than that to introduce these powerful players. Among other things, the salary of a veteran with a reputation like Ruud van Nistelrooy is not cheap. Both forwards and defenders have been recruited. Malaga's actions in the midfield cannot be small. Now Malaga is madly chasing Villarreal's midfielder Cazorla. Villarreal failed to qualify for the Champions League this season, and they also intend to sell a group of players at a high position. Therefore, the only obstacle for Malaga to get Cazorla is the transfer fee, and the two sides are still pulling. Besides, the team is also related to many powerful midfielders. Malaga will undergo a complete overhaul this season. However, it is difficult to make breakthrough progress in the transfer of players of Cazorla's level for a while. Anyway, there are still more than 2 months before the summer transfer window closes. Before this, 2011 7-month 10-day, the team officially assembled for summer training. 5 new players will also officially meet with the team today. End of this chapter. Chapter 98 Champions League Death Group. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Opening games are never easy. Everyone has gone through a month or two of vacation, and no one knows the state of the opponent. It can be said to be a complete encounter, especially for Malaga. This game is still a derby in Andalusia. The relationship between Malaga fans and Sevilla fans is not harmonious, and the two sides often clash. After all, they are teams from the same region. If you don't look up and see you down, the relationship can't be any better. As the La Liga game time approaches, Malaga is also starting to fully prepare for the opening game of the first round of La Liga. But for Malaga, before the official start of La Liga, another thing that deserves a lot of attention is their Champions League group stage draw, on August 8, at 27:17 local time in Monaco. The UEFA Champions League group stage draw and UEFA Best European Player, New European Ballon d'Or awards ceremony took place at the Grimaldi Congress Center in Monte Carlo. It happened to be the time when the Malaga team ended the day's training, so when the training was over and everyone returned to the locker room, everyone simply watched the live broadcast of the lottery together. In fact, there are quite a lot of players with Champions League experience in the Malaga team. Van Nistelrooy, Joaquin, Cazorla, Tololang, Demichelis, etc. all have experience in the Champions League, and the experience is quite rich. Before the group draw, the 32 teams participating in the Champions League were divided according to the points of a European war. Malaga, as a new team in the European war, naturally has no points in the European war, and is ranked 4th. As for the other 3 teams in La Liga, Real Madrid and Barcelona are in the first tier, and Valencia is in the second tier. According to the principle of avoiding the same league group, Malaga may basically encounter a more difficult group to play. In this regard, the Malaga players are already mentally prepared. No way, as a team in the 4th tier, they are not qualified to be picky. They will definitely encounter teams in the 1st and 2nd tiers. The strength of the two teams should not be underestimated. Needless to say, the first gear, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Manchester United, Chelsea, Bayern, Arsenal, Porto, Inter Milan. Except for Porto, they are all giants in the 4 major leagues. The second tier also has giant teams such as Milan and Lyon. From the 3rd tier, most of them are small teams not in the 4 major leagues. But there is also a giant alligator, from the local tycoon Manchester City of the Premier League. Count Dortmund, Naples, Malaga and other teams from the four major leagues in the fourth tier. This season's UEFA Champions League group stage is destined to create one or two absolute death groups. Don't have too much hope. If Dortmund and Naples don't enter the death group, then we must enter the death group 9 times out of 10. UEFA can't do anything for the ratings, said Fanny, sitting under his cupboard, shaking his head. This made many rookies in the Champions League in Malaga nervous. I hope to face a strong enemy. Yi Luo said with a smile. No, we're going to play against strong opponents and there are plenty of players in the knockout round. It's better for us to go to an easy group. Right, at least qualify for the group stage this season. The Champions League is different from the league. God bless. Just when everyone started talking, former German star Breitner started the draw as the host of the final, Allianz Arena, Munich. The first team to be drawn was the first team, and the first team to be drawn was Bayern Munich, who was drawn into Group A. Then the other first-tier teams were drawn out one after another and placed in Group AH. After completing the draw for the first tier, the draw for the second round begins. Breitner scrambled for a long time among the small white balls of the team that might encounter Bayern Munich in the second gear, then drew a white ball, opened it and unfolded it. AC Milan. That when the words AC Milan appeared on the TV screen, in the locker room of the Malaga training base, the players exclaimed, they're starting to smell the group of death, Bayern, Milan, who will be the unlucky guy in the third gear. With this expectation, everyone didn't care much about the next lottery. Finally, the teams in the second tier were all drawn, the third team in Group A is about to be drawn. Everyone held their breath. When Breitner unfolds the name of the team he has drawn, the players gasped. Man City, Bayern, Milan, Manchester City. These three teams were drawn into Group A. Damn, UEFA is really a dog, this group is so interesting. That's it, Group A is the super death group. While everyone was discussing, the teams in the third tier were all drawn. Okay, let's see who is the unlucky one who falls into Group A in the fourth gear. Isco laughed. Could it be us? Yi Luo said with some expectation. How is this possible? There's a 1/8 probability. What the fuck? Isco was dumbfounded. The host on the TV screen hadn't spoken the name of the team that Breitner had drawn out, and the temperature in the locker room instantly dropped to freezing point. Everyone looked at Yi Luo. Yi Luo smiled awkwardly. I didn't expect this either. He really didn't expect it. 1/8. 1 in 7 chances to be exact, because it is impossible for Dortmund to be in the same group as Bayern Munich. Dortmund was excluded in the draw. Choose 1 from 7, pick Malaga by the hand. How unlucky it must be. Everyone fell silent. After finally getting into the Champions League, they were actually drawn into a group with Bayern, Milan and Manchester City. This unlucky level can buy a lottery ticket. It's no big deal, we've won Real Madrid and Barcelona, and it wouldn't be surprising to win Bayern. Yi Luo tries to encourage his teammates, but this grouping is indeed a bit too unlucky for Malaga. Fuck. What group? UEFA Nima is not human. This group of death is too dead. Fuck. This is the end. 3 greats fought against Lubu, that's right. On Longua's network, the result of the lottery aroused heated discussions as soon as it came out. The major online media have reported on it one after another. Group of death, Bayern, Milan, Manchester City and Malaga create a super group of death. Yi Luo's first Champions League season, he encountered a super death group. How likely is Malaga to break through? The degree of death in Group A. For a while, all kinds of titles made the fans who were still looking forward to Yi Luo's Champions League this season a little anxious, but there are also optimists. The group of death is the group of death. In the first Champions League season, first accumulate experience. Anyway, I don't expect Malaga to go far in the Champions League. The Champions League generally belongs to the rich teams. It's not bad if these 3 opponents can win 2 games. How could it be possible that there were only 2 games, and Malaga even won against Barcelona and Real Madrid? It's different, the Champions League is different. This draw group also made the entire Spanish media sympathize with Malaga's experience. As we all know, UEFA has a tradition of creating groups of death. This time, Malaga can only consider themselves unlucky. UEFA President Michel Platini has always been unfavorable to clubs like Manchester City and Malaga that have received large investment from the Middle East Stone Group. Last season, Manchester City also fell into the death group. This season, Manchester City and Malaga Raja met in the same group, and their opponents were Bundesliga giants Bayern and Champions League 7-time winner AC Milan, and it was too difficult for these two rich teams to break out of this group. This is an article published by Marca News on its own online media. For the first time, the UEFA Champions League draw is tricky. This is almost the consensus of most media and fans. Every year, the media will zoom in on the picture of the guest draw. Others think that the UEFA Champions League groupings were not drawn out at all, but were decided long ago. Others think that something has been done about the ball. For example, the ball to be drawn has been heated. In short, no one thinks that. UEFA randomly selects the teams from each group in accordance with the principles of fairness, openness and impartiality. There must be UEFA's own likes and dislikes, news flow considerations, ratings considerations, and so on. In Europe, the football industry is the industry chain that involves the most extensive scope, the largest amount of money, and the most complicated interests of all parties in the sports industry. It is easy to understand that Malaga, which has received foreign capital injection and has an impact on the traditional interest structure, is not welcomed by the upper echelons of UEFA. Compared to Malaga, the draw for the other three La Liga teams was much more normal. Real Madrid's Group D includes Real Madrid, Lyon, Ajax and Dinamo Zagreb. Valencia was assigned to Group E, which included Chelsea, Valencia, Bayer Leverkusen and Henk. Barcelona is assigned to Group H. The teams in this group include Barcelona, Marseille, Bate Borisov, and Pilsen. The next day, when Luo went to training on his bicycle, the gate of Malaga's training base was already packed with reporters. Luo was also inevitably surrounded before entering the base. Malaga entered the group of death. What do you think about that? Confident that the group will break through? Is Malaga ready to face the group of death? The reporters threw one question after another. Luo smiled and said to the reporter, "We will play every game well." He didn't say anything like, "We will definitely qualify for the group stage." Instead, after saying a cliché to deal with the media, he pushed away the dense recording equipment in front of him and entered the training base. Blessings are unparalleled, and misfortunes do not come singly. Luo, who arrived at the training base, got another piece of news, because Atletico Madrid's main goalkeeper David De Gea was hooked away by Manchester United. They are now urgently recalling goalkeeper Asenjo, who was loaned to Malaga. Originally, Malaga was negotiating with Atletico Madrid to buy out Asenjo. The result is like this: the team must find a qualified goalkeeper in the transfer market. Asenjo actually hopes to stay in Malaga to finish this season, because Malaga has the Champions League to play this season, and many players are eager to appear in the Champions League. Whether they are qualified to play in the Champions League is actually an important reference for many players to choose their next home, but there is no way. The loan contract of both parties has a recall clause. For Asenjo, the most pull between Malaga and Atletico Madrid will allow him to participate in the next game against Sevilla, and he is estimated to be recalled by Atletico Madrid, Champions League into the Super Death Group. The main goalkeeper may be recalled by his home team before the start of the season, before the start of the first round of La Liga. Malaga's misfortunes cast a shadow over their first round of the league. It's the last day of this month, and I found that there is still a little distance from the monthly pass, and today is double the monthly pass, so I have the cheek to ask for a ticket here. I have returned to my hometown these days, and people come and go, so I can only type at night. End of this chapter. Chapter 99 One-Sided Fall, Mighty Malaga. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 99 One-Sided, Mighty Malaga. The preview of the first round of the 2011-2012 La Liga season, Sevilla vs Malaga's season opener at home. Malaga made a big signing. Their lineup has been greatly updated, starting from the warm-up match. Judging from the current situation, Pellegrini gave up the effective three-back defensive counterattack tactic in Malaga last season, and instead sought a more active pressure and possession of the ball. Seville, inside the office of the first team's training base, Seville's new head coach Marcelino Garcia, who just took office in June this year, put down the season preview made by Aspen. His opponent is Malaga, which produced a crazy 11-game winning streak last season. However, this season's Malaga is obviously not the same team as last season's Malaga. Their main lineup has undergone a very big change, and whether this change is a good thing for Malaga, from Marcelino's point of view, it may not be true. Perhaps Malaga can rely on this lineup to rank upper in La Liga in the future, but Malaga, which is now undergoing a period of change, may not be able to exert the power of this lineup. Change always comes with pain. In addition, what makes Marcelino confident in this game is Yi Luo's state. In the forward-looking report of Aspen Daily, the issue of Yi Luo's status was mentioned. Rookie wall. Yes, although a rookie like Yi Luo is a little too good, but who dares to say that he will not have a rookie wall? Malaga played 6 warm-up games before the start of the season. How many goals did Yi Luo score in these 6 warm-up matches? 4. Scoring 4 goals in 6 games, this scoring efficiency is supposed to be okay, and it is the scoring efficiency of a first-class striker. But if this is placed on Yi Luo's head, especially compared with his crazy state last season, it completely pales in comparison. So it is easy to draw a conclusion. After an off-season, Yi Luo's state has not yet reached its peak. On the whole, Malaga's lineup has changed a lot, and Yi Luo, the frontcourt core they rely on the most, is in poor condition. At the same time, the main goalkeeper had to be recalled by his home team before the start of the season, and the Champions League group stage encountered such things as a super death group. It convinced Marcelino that his opponent's Malaga would not be in much better shape. For this game, at the same time, Sevilla is in full swing. Warm-up match 3 consecutive victories, still in a slightly formal cup like the Audi Cup. They won against Bayern and Inter Milan. Although Sevilla did not perform well last season, they certainly have a solid foundation in La Liga. They have defended the UEFA Cup and are the second team in La Liga to defend the European Championship, the first being Real Madrid. Although Sevilla has had ups and downs in recent seasons, their reputation and background are worthy of being one of the powerhouses of La Liga. Plus, sitting at home, it was still a derby in Andalusia. This opener game, Sevilla still has a great possibility of winning at home. Marcelino thought confidently. Goal. Seville, Pizjuan Stadium. More than 4 Sevilla fans still had the excitement of the opening stage on their faces, but their faces were obviously stiff. Under the boiling commentary booth, Sevilla coach Marcelino jumped up from the bench. The look changed greatly. The calmness and self-confidence before the game have disappeared at this time. Before the game, the rhetoric of "we will give them a little bit of color at home" is still in my ears, but at this moment, it was the people of Malaga who were celebrating the goal. A smiling Yi Luo was locked on the big screen at the Peace One Stadium. Yellow. Ah. We didn't even have time to start the broadcast, and the goal was already scored. Yi Luo scored the goal. Malaga took the lead in the away game. Before the goal time 20 seconds, Duan Xian, the commentator of Longwa National TV, shouted excitedly. During this period of time, many Dragon Kingdom domestic media reposted Spanish media reports, which made Dragon Kingdom fans a little anxious. What is the lineup that has changed too much? What is the rookie wall? What is the poor state of the preseason? And so on. However, all doubts and anxiety were shattered in front of such a goal. Brilliant. Epic. Cool. What do you mean clean and tidy? In the cheers of Malaga and Longwa fans, the whole process of scoring just now began to be replayed on the TV screen. With the whistle of the referee, center Ruud van Nistelrooy passed the ball back to midfielder Tololan. Tololan took the ball and kicked it out, and handed the ball to Joaquin, one of your 3 midfielders. Joaquin passed the ball diagonally, looking for this Isco, who played as a left winger in the game, dribbled the ball past a defensive player after receiving the ball, and then passed it back to Cazorla on the left side of the penalty area in an inverted triangle. Cazorla was ready to pass the ball before responding. The football was picked by him to the right side of the small penalty area. Yi Luo has already inserted at high speed at this time, pushing the ball with his right foot, aiming at the angle of the far post. He shoots without stopping the ball. The football cleanly dared to drill into the goal from the far end. At the same time, the scoreboard on the big screen in the stadium has also changed, 0-1. The home team is at the front and the visiting team is at the back. Sevilla fell behind. Yi Luo was in excellent form, and that shot was in a half-volley state with his foot slightly pushing the far corner, very relaxed. The state is very relaxed. This made Marcelino realize that all his speculations before the game were wrong. There is no such thing as a bad state for Yi Luo. The opening is less than 20 seconds. Sevilla conceded the goal, which is almost equivalent to starting the game with a goal behind. Beautiful. Yi Luo received Cazorla's pass and sent the ball into the goal. This shot was completed quite calmly. The average player may have a burst shot from the instep in this position. But let's see Yi Luo. He observed the ball first, then the goalkeeper, and then used the most accurate way to complete the shot. Andres, the commentator of Kobe Radio, said with emotion in the commentary booth. Rookie wall. Is there a wall in this world that can stop Yi Luo from scoring? Marcelino called Rakitic, the core midfielder of Sevilla, over to teach him the opportunity. They have taken the lead, and then we have to take the initiative to attack and be careful of their counterattack. Marcelino quickly explained in Rakitic's ear. After taking the lead, Malaga may play their good defensive counterattack. After all, Malaga now have 4 midfielders, and Isco could go back and play in midfield too, so now Sevilla may face the risk of being beaten by Malaga in the way they know best. However, before the game, Marcelino's tactics for Sevilla were to take the initiative to attack at home, so now it's just going according to the original plan. Rakitic is a midfielder with a fairly high technical level, can attack and defend well, and run actively. When he needs to attack, he can press up and act as an attacking midfielder. He can also protect the line down low when he needs to defend. So after the game restarts, Rakitic took the initiative to presuppose his position, intending to help the team strengthen its offense. But what everyone didn't expect was that, after scoring a goal, Malaga did not withdraw to play defensive counterattacks like they did last season. Instead, they carried out a high-intensity frontcourt press and regained the ball and continued to suppress Sevilla to attack. And when Malaga took the initiative to attack, the Sevilla players found themselves too awkward to defend. Although Yi Luo played a right winger in this game, he is an inward winger, which is equivalent to a winger's style of play. He has just moved in the rib area of the penalty area, and he alone is overwhelming. Villa's defense did not dare to move, not to mention Ruud van Nistelrooy, the king of the small penalty area, at the center position, and Sevilla's players did not dare to let Ruud van Nistelrooy go, and on the other side, the left side dominated by Isco is not a winger's style of play, but a frontal midfielder style of play, which is equivalent to placing a player who is good at passing threatening balls on the wing. This combination of completely different offensive styles on both sides makes Malaga's offensive methods very rich, and Isco, Cazorla, and Joaquin will also switch positions frequently. All three are players who can play wide and centrally. Both have considerable offensive capabilities, especially with Yi Luo pinning down Sevilla's defense. Sevilla wanted to counterattack, but found that there was no way to get up. Malaga's 3 midfielders, Tololang, Joaquin, and Isco, and 3 strikers, Isco, Ruud van Nistelrooy, and Yellow, at the same time, the fullbacks. Sergio Sanchez and Monterrey on both sides have considerable assisting abilities. Although they are not well known, they are both mature players who have played in La Liga for many years, and their performance is very stable. The 2 central defenders, De Michelis and Matheson, are the main players of Argentina and the Netherlands respectively. Sevilla's sporadic counterattacks were all resolved by the 2 central defenders of Malaga. Defensively passive, the counterattack was weak. The scene of the game quickly fell into Malaga's control. Malaga has strengthened its lineup this season. Looking at their current control on the field, I even see the shadow of a real strong team, Andres said with some surprise. Malaga's running in seems to be smooth, and their middle, front, and third lines are very skilled. Of course, this may be related to the lack of pressure on them by Sevilla. But with Yellow in the frontcourt, he alone contained at least 3 Sevilla players. In this case, Sevilla wanted to put enough pressure on Malaga's midfielders. Also some are too strong. Malaga has come out stronger this season. Many commentators also saw it. Sevilla were completely overwhelmed by Malaga on the pitch. Neither side even looked like the same level of team. In fact, the gap between the 2 sides is not as big as it appears on the scene, and the reason for the present situation. The camera gave Yi Luo a close-up and gave the answer. End of this chapter. Chapter 100. Will Malaga be a spoiler? You are listening at novelfull.audio. It's all because of Luo, he is too active. His range of motion is too large, and his physical strength seems to be infinite. Next to Marcelino, his assistant frowned and said, yes, Yellow is everywhere on the pitch. He always appeared to get the ball in the weak defense, and then hit the Sevilla goal with the ball. He didn't seem to be afraid of being unable to support his physical fitness in the second half, nor was he afraid of being injured by the opponent's foul. His eyes are only on the goal. He is tireless, always running, asking for the ball, and breaking through. For a short period of time, Sevilla had already paid the price of 2 yellow cards on him in order to stop Yellow. Generally speaking, such consecutive fouls will make the average striker feel terrified. For players, injuries are the natural enemy. In order to prevent themselves from being injured, many players will reduce the time the football is at their feet and look for opportunities through air cuts. No one is not afraid of getting hurt, but Luo doesn't seem to be afraid of tackles at all. He rushed forward without hesitation for the 5 goals. He himself was not injured, but the Sevilla players were a little bit embarrassed. Marcelino couldn't help but sighed. This guy seems to be a player from the 90s. In the past, football players advocated heroic spirit. Rolling on the ground for 7.5 weeks after being fouled, the screams could not exceed the voices of the fans at the scene. This kind of behavior is very embarrassing in the eyes of some old-school football players, not to mention that some players are as brave as tigers outside the penalty area, and they seem to become Lin Dayu when they enter the penalty area, just dip and pour. For the older generation of football players, this kind of behavior is simply out of sight, but now Luo is actually out of tune with the current trend, as if he only has football in his eyes. This kind of spirit makes Marcelino appreciated very much, but only for appreciation that he sat back on the coach's bench. If he still has fitness in the second half, if he doesn't get injured, if he can finish the season healthy, I won't be surprised that Malaga wins La Liga, he said. But how is that possible? The assistant answered, both know that there is no player in this world who holds the ball for so long and rarely gets injured. There is also no player like Luo who can move around a wide range, sprint, change direction, break through with the ball, and spare no effort to maintain sufficient physical fitness in the second half. The key now is can Sevilla survive? If he can survive the first half, wait for Luo's physical bottleneck in the second half. Sevilla's chance has come. Marcelino looks at the pitch. If you don't continue to concede goals in the first half, you can still fight in the second half. On the contrary, if Sevilla concedes another goal in the first half, then the possibility of Sevilla wanting to come back in the second half is very small. Tired. Very tired. Rakitic was panting. Just now he paid for a long sprint run, struggling to shovel Luo's pass out of the baseline. This defense won him applause from the fans. Of course, it also made his lungs rise and fall crazily, greedily absorbing the oxygen in the air. The air in my lungs seemed to be burning. Such a long-distance sprint consumes too much energy. Rakitic's physical fitness is actually very good. But before the first half of the game was over, he actually felt like his lungs were about to explode. Several consecutive sprints cost him a lot of physical energy. The reason is not because of his poor physical ability, it's that Sevilla's defense is very passive, and Rakitic, as a midfielder, must help defend and fill. At the same time, Yellow was too threatening, which caused Sevilla to consume too many defensive resources at this point, so that other Malaga players could easily get the opportunity to catch and pass the ball open. This made Malaga's offense very smooth and silky, and Sevilla had to make active runs on the defensive end in order to keep the goal, and most of them are passive anaerobic running. Sevilla's defense is very passive. The offensive ability shown by Malaga in the away game is surprising. Sevilla is almost pressed in their own half. The game is almost 10 minutes now. It was completely Malaga's half-court offensive and defensive drill, and it can be seen from the ball possession data of both sides. Malaga's ball possession rate reached 73%, while Sevilla only had a poor 27%. On the commentary seat, André said, just now, the football fell to Luo's feet again. Luo switched to the left side to catch the ball this time. Rude was directly in front of him, and other players were also approaching him. At the same time, Sevilla's defensive players quickly approached Luo, forming a line of defense in front of him that was strong enough to prevent him from breaking through and shooting. Otherwise, Luo would do it alone. And Yi Luo saw the Sevilla players approaching his side immediately, forming a dense defensive posture, and he passed the ball out immediately. Yi Luo picked the football over the defender's head and moved it to Luisco's feet on the right. Such a pass made Sevilla's players have to reposition their defenses, and the entire defense, including the back and midfield players, had to move to Isco's side immediately. This kind of mobilization by Malaga and having to keep running makes the Sevilla players passively consumed all the time. This consumption made the players of Sevilla lack of oxygen in their heads. On the sidelines, Marcelino frowned. He can only pray that the first half time will pass quickly. You can adjust it during the intermission. The opponent's offense was so active, which Marcelino did not expect at all before the game. One step wrong, step by step wrong. As a result, the balance of victory and defeat in this game has begun to tilt wildly towards Malaga. As long as they can score another goal, the game will basically lose suspense. Fans at Peace One Stadium pray to God, but obviously, God is not on their side today. Game number 4:03 minutes, when Yi Luo jumped high in the penalty area and smashed the ball into the goal. There were bursts of exclamations throughout the Pizjuan Stadium. It's a cross from Isco, and Yi Luo grabbed this point under the siege and defense of many people. He jumped high, fully demonstrating his super jumping ability. Although his height of 1.8 meters is not short for a football player, coupled with his jumping, even Sevilla has enough defensive players in the penalty area, but still failed to block Yi Luo's goal. On the one hand, of course, it has to do with Yi Luo's header ability, with his height, jumping ability, judgment of weaknesses, and the addition of air fighter skills. If Yi Luo wants, he can even be used as a header bomber in the penalty area. There is no fuss about scoring a header. On the other hand, it is related to the passive consumption of Sevilla's defense. Malaga's maneuvering left and right around the front of Sevilla's box before this was not a show of their passing skills. Instead, it is consuming the opponent. Let Sevilla's players be in a state of consumption all the time. And just now Isco's cross made it so easy for Yi Luo to grab the header under the defense of so many people. It was because at that moment, due to the constant scheduling consumption of Sevilla's defensive players, there was a collective attack. Being distracted and inattentive, Yi Luo completed the jump and headed the goal. Sidelines, Pellegrini cheered with clenched fists. This is the most fulfilling moment for the head coach. His tactics succeeded. It is not easy to implement this set of tactics well. It requires the players in the midfield to have good enough personal ability to control the game situation. After a lot of signings this season, Malaga's midfielder, even excluding Yi Luo's absolute strength, is still at the top level in La Liga in terms of players' personal ability. On this basis, Yi Luo's performance became even more comfortable. He can get more support from his teammates. Correspondingly, his personal data and the degree of threat he poses to the opponent's defense have also skyrocketed. Yi Luo this season will be even more terrifying. And the opponent in this game is not a weak team, but a strong team like Sevilla with a solid foundation in La Liga. Facing such an opponent, Malaga can control the situation. This shows the strength of Malaga. The team's performance in the first half of the game made Pellegrini full of confidence in this season. The only thing he was worried about was Yi Luo's body, his stamina drain, his constant attempts to charge the opponent's defense and create fouls, every time Yi Luo fell to the ground. Pellegrini was terrified. The eye of this set of tactics is Yi Luo. If Yi Luo is not there, Malaga's possession of the ball will not be so easy. Because Sevilla does not have Yi Luo's containment, they will definitely start to siege Malaga in the midfield. Not like now. This is the way to cast a mouse. Pellegrini could hardly imagine what would happen if Yellow was injured by Malaga. He is the most indispensable person in Malaga today. On the TV screen, Yi Luo's goals are being replayed continuously. Duan Xian couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Dribbling, breakthroughs, long shots, grabbing points in the penalty area, and headers. It's so well-rounded. Look at this header. Oh my God, he jumped so high. Duan Xian couldn't help but sigh with emotion. With this header goal, Yi Luo scored twice in the first game of this season, before the end of the first half. Malaga also led Sevilla, in the away game. Yi Luo has continued his fiery state. At this time, Duan Xian's commentator partner, guest commentator Su Yang said with a smile, speaking of this, before the game, many media in Spain said that this game will be a test for Yi Luo, because there is a rookie wall. Now it seems that this wall isn't strong enough. Duan Xian also laughed when he heard the words, "That's right, we can even expect Yi Luo to score another goal in the second half and perform a hat-trick. This season's golden boot must belong to Yi Luo, who else but me." That the two chatted happily in the studio. Malaga's players celebrate their goal wildly, the Sevilla players are already numb, Rakitic is also numb. He used to think that Messi was the most powerful player in the world, but this game made him doubt his judgment a little bit. The horror of this guy in front of him really needs to be fought against in person to experience it. His dribbling is as good as Ronaldo's, his ball sense is as good as Maradona's, his shooting power is heavy, and his running position is erratic and ghostly. The key is that he is not alone, but also integrates well with Malaga's tactical system. This guy is so talented that people are jealous, thought Rakitic. With Yi Luo's goal, the first half of the game soon ended. The two sides returned to the locker room at halftime with a 2-0 game, but, people know it, there is not much suspense in this game. Statistics for the first half: Malaga completely crushed Sevilla. Sevilla played like a relegation team in front of Malaga. This surprised many reporters and football experts in the media. The strength shown by Malaga made many people frown. Will Malaga be a spoiler for the La Liga title this season? End of this chapter.